What is up, guys? How we doing today? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Today we're back with some more news articles. We got a few to cover. Try and be quick, but we're going to talk about Trump is another 180 on his Epstein ordeal. Don't know what the heck is going on with that. We're going to talk about the Russia hoax from 2016 when, the Russia hoax that was made up. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the anti-Trump protests and a sad day in the late night world where Stephen Colbert is losing his show, or the whole show was being canceled. So that's what we're going to talk about. Stay tuned. It's going to be a fun one. All right, so this one is coming from the BBC, and it's Trump administration asks court to release some Epstein documents. Some. I heard it was more than that, but some. Well, let's see what they mean by some. And this is the BBC. The U.S. Justice Department has asked a judge to unseal material related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein following intense criticism of Trump administration's handling of the case. The request concerns transcripts from the grand jury involved in the government 2019 sex trafficking case against Epstein. Materials that are typically kept secret and protected by law. Ooh, protected by the law. Well, and like I've said, and like a lot of people have said, I don't think it's really necessarily about Epstein himself. I think there's a lot more to it, and that's what we need to know, is we need to know what all is the higher ups and what's really going on, because Epstein, I think, was just a pawn on the chess table. I mean, he may have been sort of a higher up, but he was just he wasn't the guy in charge. If he was the guy in charge, but I think, and we all believe there's more to it than just sex trafficking, child trafficking, which is horrible, which don't get me wrong, that's horrible, but I think there's a lot more to it than just that. And that's why we're so worried about it, is we need to know. He ran on draining the swamp, and we expect the swamp to be drained, and he hasn't even done that. And now he's just kind of like, well, we're done. It's over. What's up, guys? Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to jump on real quick and do a quick shout out to the sponsors of this video, which is first and foremost, the Lord above, the creator of the universe. Without him, none of us are anything. We're all nothing. And secondly, I wanted to shout out to the subscribers of this channel, because without the subscribers, this channel's nothing. And we're growing slowly, but we're growing. And I get between 1 and 10 new subscribers every day. So I see every single one, and every one I appreciate. It's amazing to me that I even have as many as I do. But my goal for the year is 8,000. So if we can get that by the end of 25, that would be awesome. And if those of you that have subscribed, again, thank you so much. You're the life of this channel. And those of you that haven't subscribed, if you want to, maybe not right now, but if you want to watch for a few more minutes, and then if you want to
go ahead, make my day.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and subscribe, that would be fantastic. But again, it's up to you. If you feel like it, if you feel like you're getting anything out of this, I'm working on a few things that I'm going to come up with some new videos and some new ideas that might help you out a little bit. But anyway, again, appreciate y'all. Love you. Back to your show. Yeah, I get where you're at with Epstein himself. I get that, but there's more to it than that. The court filing came as Trump filed a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal's parent company, Dow Jones, its owner Rupert Murdoch, and 2 reporters over a story claiming that he wrote a body personal note to Epstein in 2003. The note said, with Trump said the note, which the paper reported he'd sent for Epstein's 50th birthday, is fake. Which I don't doubt that it was fake. I mean, it's possible, but I don't doubt that it was fake. Because if it was real, knowing the way the establishment is against Trump, it would have been out years ago. As soon as this case came up, it would have been out. They would have had it out right then and there. It's obvious. So I'm pretty sure it's a fake story, because it's, like I said, they've tried to get Trump for anything and everything they possibly can. If this was real, they would have had it out years ago. We all know that. A Dow Jones spokesperson said in a statement to the BBC, "We have full confidence in the rigor and accuracy of our reporting and will vigorously defend against any lawsuit." On Thursday, Trump ordered Attorney General Pam Bondi to seek the release of documents related to Epstein's secretive grand jury testimony. The Justice Department formally made a request to a judge in New York, arguing the materials related to the case, where he was charged with trafficking dozens of girls as young as 14, qualify as a matter of public interest. Okay, that's, like I said, that's a big deal. It is. Don't get me wrong, that's a big deal, but there's more to it than the Epstein himself, and that's what we're after. We're after that. Who's in charge? It's like you're going after the drug doers, the druggies, the guys that are buying and doing the drugs, when you need to go after the drug dealers. That's kind of where we're at. Epstein's, like I said, there's a big deal here. This is a lot more than that. The department is also asking for disclosures in the case of his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was convicted in the child sex trafficking conspiracy. A grand jury, a panel of people who vet whether there is enough evidence to charge a person with a crime, can hear from a confidential informants and those whose identities are protected for their safety. Materials in a grand jury are typically kept secret under the law, but a judge can unseal the documents if they decide public interest outweighs the need for such legal protections in a case. Either way, it's unclear when or if the documents will be released, or if they contain many of the details Trump's supporters have been demanding. It's been 4 years since under the Biden, when Biden's corrupt administration was in office, so they could have done what they wanted with it. And who knows, we may get a judge that says, nope, I'm not releasing it. I don't know which judge, if it has to be the judge that was over the case or what, but it just so, there's been a lot of judges order against whatever Trump wants. But here we are. Also on Friday, Trump filed a $10 billion with a B, billion lawsuit in Miami against Dow Jones News Corp and conservative media tycoon Rupert Murdoch. He claims the Wall Street Journal slandered him and violated libel laws in an article alleging that a bawdy birthday greeting bearing Trump's name was sent to Epstein in 2003 before the late financier was charged with sex crimes. We have just filed a powerhouse lawsuit against everyone involved in publishing the false, malicious, defamatory, fake news article in the useless rag that is the Wall Street Journal, Trump said on social media Well, to be fair, Mr. Trump, if you'd have put out these documents a long time ago, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, I'm just telling you, whether it's fake or not, if you'd have put this out there, if you'd have released the documents like you said you were going to, when you said you were going to, but they beat you to it. You put it off too long, and you've been like putting it off, and then you come out and there's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden they're coming up with something. So whether it's true or not, they beat you to it. I still don't totally buy that that's legit, because again, they would have had that out years ago. But and now, now that it's too late, they put something out. Now you have to sue them. Or you could have just released the files, released it, and all this would have been settled. We wouldn't be going through this right now. So, but now you're kind of backpedaling. I'll just release it. Just release it. Was that so hard? I mean, it took your supporters pretty much getting pretty pissed off at you in order for you to decide, well, just release it, just do it, just get it over with. All right, that's enough of that one. You've all heard that story. It's been run into the ground, this whole Epstein bullcrap, but we'll see. I mean, is it going to get released? I don't know. I still think he's compromised enough to where it's not gonna matter. Whatever they do release is gonna be too heavily redacted again, and that's my thoughts. That's my take. I don't, but who am I? But we'll see. Like I said, I don't see it happening. He's been saying drain the swamp since 16, and not a single one of them's been arrested, convicted, nothing. So, okay, next one is coming from the left's favorite, Fox News. The left, they just love Fox News. It's like this is what they live on, is Fox News. An advocacy group CEO claims he was offered $20 million to recruit protesters for anti-Trump demonstrations. Interesting. Let's read on. The CEO of an advocacy group said his organization turned down an offer that he said would have been worth $20 million to help recruit for a national rally against President Donald Trump. Interests align with the organizations of the July 17th movement have approached us, and in fact, we rejected an offer that probably is worth around $20 million. Adam Swart, the CEO and founder of the Crowds on Demand, told News Nation's Brian Enton in an interview that aired on Tuesday. Sorry about that. On Thursday, protests around the country were being planned against Trump, spearheaded by Good Trouble Lives On, a group that called itself a peaceful and nonviolent protest and social change organization. They are planning to oppose Trump and what they call on their website the most brazen rollback of civil rights in generations. Just because he's doing the same thing that Obama did, only not quite as much as Obama did. Obama was the deporter-in-chief. He deported more than any other president in the history of presidents. But yet, they don't care about that. So, the protest planned for Thursday also take place on the 5th anniversary of the death of former Representative John Lewis, Democrat, Georgia, a civil rights leader who routinely referred to protests as good trouble. That's where they get their good trouble from. It didn't look like they had a huge turnout. I didn't really hear a whole lot about it, so it must not have really done a whole lot. But Swart said Crowds on Demand, a company based in California that specialized in providing on-demand crowds for protests, rejected the offer because they didn't think protests like this, like the ones Good Trouble Lives On is hosting on Thursday, would be effective. Oh, so you only take the ones that are violent. Is that what you're saying? I mean, this is a nationwide thing, right? It's not to say I would have made $20 million personally, but the value of the contract would have been worth around that amount nationwide to organize huge demonstrations around the country, Swart said. Or to pay people, or to pay protesters to come and throw rocks in windows. Maybe that's what it was, so that you can pay these protesters. Because they don't want to loot for free. They want new shoes and to get paid for it. But personally, I just don't think it's effective, he added. So it's not. I'm not trying to call myself virtuous for rejecting it. What I'm saying is, I'm rejecting it. Not because I don't want to take the business, but because, frankly, this is going to be ineffective. It's going to make us all look bad. Huh, you think? Like I said, I didn't really hear anything, so maybe they didn't have enough money to pay everybody, so nobody showed up. President Trump's America is so successful that blue-haired basement dwellers are paid to stage fake protests against the administration's remarkable achievements. Harrison Fields, special assistant to the president and principal deputy press secretary, said in a statement to Fox News Digital, paid agitators should find real jobs instead of selling out for gift cards and meager paychecks that aim to divide the nation and obstruct America's greatest comeback. Nothing screams a party in disarray more than one that clearly lacks organic support and is forced to astroturf everything. That's right, they gotta pay people to come and protest. I mean, if you want to compare January 6th, the right didn't have to pay anybody to do that. They just showed up. But we're not comparing that to January 6th. January 6th was mostly peaceful. It was actually mostly peaceful. There was their bad apples. I'm not gonna deny that. There was some bad apples there. There was some, but as a whole, majority of it was peaceful. So all you January 6th, whatever. That was what you guys are actually trying to call mostly peaceful. But sometimes you left wing protests can get a little bit violent. I mean, I'm not saying they all are. Like these ones, I didn't hear anything about the July 17th ones. They mostly a dud, I guess. But left-wing riots in Los Angeles resulting in violence, including the burning of the American flag and the assault of law enforcement officers, as well as the No King's Day protests across the country, have recently made headlines. No kings. But anyway, that's that one. He claims that he was offered a $20 million contract. And again, that probably wasn't to go in his pocket. That was probably to pay people to come and protest, to come and loot, to come and riot, to come and throw bricks at police officers or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it was paid for that, but he turned it down because these aren't going to be effective. Well, of course they're not going to be effective. You're wanting change to go from good to bad. Why would you change from something to get worse? If you're going to protest for good change, not bad change. I mean, because Trump is, whether you like to admit it or not, Trump has done a lot of good. Yeah, there's a few things lately, kind of recently, that he's kind of veered off his track, but a vast majority has been good things. He's got a lot of good wins. Okay, next on the board, we're going to move over to the Blaze Media, and this one is bombshell documents referred to DOJ expose Obama's direct role in the Russia hoax. This is surreal. Shortly after Donald Trump shocked the world by winning the 2016 election, the media and deep state actors began to work to subvert his win. The public-facing campaign began when BuzzFeed published an unvetted dossier compiled by a former British spy at the behest of the Hillary Clinton campaign. To recap, the Clinton campaign funneled money to the Democratic National Committee, which hired a law firm to then hire an opposition research firm, Fusion GPS, which hired former British spy Christopher Steele to compose the since debunked briefing. The director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is now alleging that the campaign funded documents formed the basis of a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest level of the Obama's White House to subvert the will of the American people and to try and usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate. Now, if you remember, Tulsi Gabbard used to be a Democrat, used to be on the Democrat side. So maybe she saw something. Maybe she's actually, I don't know if she's part of it, but maybe she saw something, and that's maybe why she left that party, and now she's coming forth but who knows? But she, at that time, she was on the Democrat side. She's since come over, but so maybe she knows some information that we are soon to find out. But basically, she's accusing these people of treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest level of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people and try to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate. Those are her words, not mine. Americans will finally learn the truth about how in 2016, Gabbard wrote on X Friday, intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermine our democratic republic. We all kind of knew this, but we were all censored for saying it. The documents show around the beginning of December 2016, the U.S. intelligence community compiled an assessment for the then President Obama, concluding Russia did not impact the U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. The documents show around the beginning of December 16th, the U.S. Intelligence Committee compiled an assessment for the then President Obama, concluding Russia did not impact the recent U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. She added, before it could reach the president, it was abruptly pulled based on new guidance. The key intelligence assessment was never published. The documents point to Obama ordering FBI Director James Comey, CIA Director John Brennan, and Director of National Intelligence James Clapper to direct their agencies to create a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russian election meddling, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments released over the previous several months. The day after the reported meeting, leaks appeared in the Washington Post and NBC News. The DNI reports detailed whistleblower emails. It says, prove Clapper and Brennan used the Steele dossier as the basis to push forward the false narrative. This betrayal concerns every American, Gabbert wrote. The integrity of our democracy, democratic republic demands that every person involved be investigated and brought to justice to prevent this from ever happening again. The DNI refers to the newly revealed documents to the Department of Justice for potential prosecution. Public reaction was swift. Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk said on X that the revelations show that it was all a giant hoax. He then called the Department of Justice to investigate and prosecute. Well, we all knew it was a hoax. I mean, this guy, Charlie Kirk, he's pretty well known, and he's just now figuring this out. We all knew it was a giant hoax. This is surreal, General Mike Flynn, former national security advisor in Trump's first term, said on X. Here in America, the director of national intelligence, DNI Gabbert, is now stating emphatically that a former president of the United States, at Barack Obama, attempted to coup against the POTUS, at real Donald Trump. The full trove of documents released Friday can be found here. So there's a whole bunch of documents. You just click on that and up they come. So if you go onto the Blaze and read this article and you click on it, all the documents. Well, I guess, I don't know what it says they come up, but it's not really showing much, or at least I'm not clicking. I'm not going to click on a whole lot of that. You can go on and check this out. It's got press releases and reports and publications and speeches and interviews, and if you're interested in looking at that. Okay. And last but not least, sad news. We're losing the Stephen Colbert show. I can't believe they would do that to him. Late night TV hosts and celebrities are reacting to news of the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and the entire franchise effective May 2026. Dang it, we still got to go through May. It's like a long time. Jimmy Kimmel, host of ABC's The Jimmy Kimmel Live, reshared Colbert's on-air announcement about the cancellation in an Instagram story post, voicing his support for Colbert while criticizing the Late Show host network CBS. Well, guess what, Jimmy? You're next. Take the View with you. You know, this is that basic concept of go woke, go broke. Is that what they call it? Go woke, go broke. You guys are finally getting to kind of see what that looks like. In an Instagram story message, Jimmy Fallon said that he was shocked by the show's cancellation announcement and praised his fellow late-night TV host. I'm just as shocked as everyone. Stephen was one of the sharpest, funniest hosts to ever do it. Well, I disagree with that one. The NBC Tonight Show host wrote, I really thought I'd ride this out with him for years to come. I'm sad that my family and friends will need a new show to watch every night at 11:30, but honestly, he's really been a gentleman and a true friend over the years. Going back to the Colbert Report, and I'm sure whatever he does next will be just as brilliant. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, you go woke, you go broke. Plain and simple. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of other shows similar to that are going to be right behind him. Jimmy Kimmel, yeah, you're just as bad as you're probably worse. You probably should have gone first, but you're probably next. And the View technically should have gone first. They're a joke. They're even worse than Kimmel, and Kimmel's as woke as it gets. But anyway, so long to Stephen Colbert and the Tonight and the Late Show. You know, I mean, who stayed up and watched those shows anyway? That's probably why they're canceling it. Nobody watched them. I mean, for one, that's the main reason, right? Is ratings, money. They're a money channel. They need money. They need ratings. And if nobody's watching, obviously you're not doing a very good job. If you were better, funnier, whatever, more people would watch you. Maybe that's why nobody watches me. Maybe I'm not funny enough. Maybe I need to get with the program and start telling better jokes. But anyway, that's the video for today. Tried to do it quick, but anyway, appreciate y'all. Do the YouTube stuff down below. Again, I'm trying to get to that 8,000 by the end of the year. We're slowing down a little, but we're gonna get there. We've still got 5 months to go. We should be able to bang that out. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Love you. We'll see you in the next one.